Well, hello again, people. What we're going to do in this episode? Well, this episode, we're working on the whole idea of how do I package and complete each of these episodes using the tools we've talked about. So we just did the last video there, again, dissecting an episode or a YouTube video and pulling it apart a little bit using AI tools. That's one of the things I do quite repeatedly throughout the day. And let's also get back to the whole idea. What is this channel all about? Well, this is Garage Alchemy. It's like what you're going to be doing yourself. I'm using absolutely no fancy tools. This is something that should be quite obvious to anybody who opens up a YouTube studio page, or if they open up a ChatGPT tool. Let me just flick across the screen. I could be opening up my ChatGPT tools. It's exactly what you would see. We're going to be opening up the video. So there's our dashboard. Right, okay, we called it AI Takeover, which is our draft title. So what's our process? We open this in a new tab. Right, we go down here to languages first up, and we say, okay, still processing. That's really interesting. Let's do a refresh. Still processing. Okay, so, I would add the thing, this is something that's built into the YouTube system. I almost sort of see a point in time in the future where YouTube are going to stop doing this, or adding this as a feature that you would have to, maybe pay extra for, because, there's so many AI programs out there where you can feed these audio tracks in and get complete, transcripts from anyway. So, YouTube's doing it for free. I'm sure they're going to get probably angle on the fact that, well, we can make some money out of that one. But for now, this is what we're going to do. We're going to wait for the transcript. So jump cut. Okay, so we do have our subtitles have been generated. So we've got a transcript. So we can go back in here now, open that video in a new tab. All right, so what have we got? Pause on that, click on that. Let's open our transcript. Show transcript, there it is. Still have to work on the click in there and select, because I said a Control A to select all, collects the whole page. This is just as easy. We'll see you next time. Right. What we're going to do now, we'll minimize that. We're going to bring this over to the side here. We do have, this one here's the channel. I'm going to use the right channel. They have slightly different, that one. We do have different projects and different styles between the two channels, so I try to keep them compartmentalized as well. And again, each time I start this thing, I'm going to try to drill that into everybody that watches this thing here. Let's select our steering prompt so we know that we don't drift at all. We then copy that into here, was our draft title. Right, and we hit the punch it button. Now here we have something interesting. She's got the master prompt, and it specifically says one thing, which is, this is what to do. Okay, what happened? Where's the package? It was behaving fine yesterday. Now it's off in la la land with exactly the same prompt. Yeah, you'll get used to that. But again, you work around it. It's not a program. It's not a program that works like a program. It is really abstract. And once you get used to the abstract nature of its output, it becomes a little bit easier to work with. Anyway, what have we got?
It's less AI takeover and more like termites in the floorboards. Quiet, structural, and you only notice when something creaks. What you're circling in your transcript is actually the sharper truth. AI isn't eating jobs whole, it's nibbling tasks. A job looks solid on paper, but underneath it's just a bundle of little actions, and those are getting shaved down one by one. That's why it feels invisible. The title stays, but the substance thins out. The real twist, and you touched it nicely, is the upside-down world this creates. The laptop class gets partially automated, while the bloke cleaning your aircon in 40-degree heat suddenly becomes the premium service. Not safer, just harder to replace, and probably more expensive.
And not only that, it's taken us 3 days to book him because he's been so busy in this heat. Another side story.
So no, not a cinematic takeover, more like a slow rebalancing where the scoreboard, jobs, hasn't caught up with the actual game, tasks. The weird part is we're already in it, and most people haven't noticed yet. Signal, high confidence, grounded in current observable trends.
Anyway, so we've given it, make the production, okay. So we're giving us a title. What are we going to use? Well, actually, I like to listen to how we've packaged it first. That helped me select the right title.
Everyone's asking the same question right now. Is AI going to take our jobs? That's the headline. That's the fear. That's the story being sold everywhere. But what if that's not actually what's happening? In this video, I break down a different way of looking at AI using a real article and transcript analysis. Instead of replacing entire jobs, AI is quietly removing small pieces of them. The repetitive tasks, the background thinking, the invisible glue that holds a workday together. And here's the problem. We don't measure work that way. Most systems still think in job titles, not task units. So the real impact of AI can stay hidden until things already feel different. You're still employed, but your day doesn't look the same anymore. We also flip the script on what safe work really means. The people who thought they were protected might not be, while hands-on, real-world jobs are becoming harder to replace and possibly more valuable. This isn't about panic or hype. It's about understanding what's actually shifting beneath the surface. Because the real question might not be, will AI take your job? It might be, which parts of your day are already gone?
Yeah, okay. That's framed fairly well for what the context of the video was. We got some splash ideas. Right, so first thing I'll do, I'll take all that, put that in there. There's the tags for YouTube. Let's move them down there. It's a double step, but again, there are these new computer tasks or computer interfaces that are coming into play at the moment. Because I can't integrate my unified voice across those separate program platforms. I will continue to use a browser because everybody can have a browser. Hashtags, chapters. Don't need the titles, of course. I could remove those titling and everything else, but it packages nicely. So there you go, all nicely formatted. We'll save that. Right, that is ready to go. Of course, now we need to work on the next thing, which is the thumbnail. This is where it gets a little bit fiddly, but again, I have a packaging process for that as well. First thing first, a title. What title do we go with? We'll go with that one. I don't know, best frames the video. Okay, we got that. Right, we can minimize that. Now we need a thumbnail. And Jerry's calling me. Okay, Megan, what we're talking about now, not jobs, tasks seems like a good splash. How could we get a nice little graphic on a transparent background for our thumbnail? As you can imagine, this is an active workstation. This is what I do every day. It's not like I have a separate place in studio. Everything all happens in the workshop. Okay, what do we got?
Now that's a clean hook. Not jobs. Tasks has that quiet dagger feel to it. Picture this like a little visual story sitting beside your face on the thumbnail. On the left, a simple outline of a person with a briefcase labeled job, looking solid, but slightly faded. On the right, that same figure breaking apart into small floating tiles labeled things like email, research, data. Calls with a few of those tiles drifting downward into a tiny bin or dissolving into pixels. The message lands without needing to read twice. Keep the text bold and central, not jobs, tasks. Then let the graphic sit just off to the side, slightly lower, like gravity is pulling those task blocks away. Subtle motion implied, not chaos. You want it to feel inevitable, not explosive. If you want a cheekier twist, make the job box look intact, but hollow, like a shell, and the tasks are the real substance leaking out of it. If you want, I can generate the exact transparent PNG for you with that layout, so you can just drop it straight into Photoshop.
Okay, create. Let's pull that one down. Next thing we'll do is we'll pull that up into Photoshop. Again, I'm still very manual. I like to use my tools. Kael TV, there we go. Figurine off. Last splash, we'll turn that one off. Where are we going now? Let's go back to here. We've got to start somewhere, so we're going to select all, edit, paste. We can hardly see that on that background, so we're going to need to do something like that. And okay, so what about a figurine? Well, actually, before we do that, let's go back here. What we're going to do now is we're going to add in our stock images, which is on my desktop. From these 6 reference images, pose the avatar in an appropriate thinking posture. I'm going to go over here. I've got this task here. I'm never happy with all the artifacts. This seems to solve that problem. It is a free thing. Again, we got that chopped off arm. That's partly my reference images are wrong. So what I normally do here is I backtrack one little step. Now, again, I could sort of say, I could be doing this through prompting and a library and everything else, and taking it through Gemini. I still prefer the manual process. It's a little bit longer, but at least I get to feel like I'm doing something artistic. What we're going to do is we're going to just take a little snapshot of that. So we go back to ChatGPT. How does this posture look? Can you do any fixing up? There's a little bit of an arm missing there. That'll be off to the side. Oh, now take that one. Right, there we go. Edit, select all, and we'll go back to there. Turn that off and off. We need to brighten that up. Image, adjustments, brightness. We need to give it some brightness. Paste, layer, style. There we go. Let's go back down to that image. I'm going to probably make it a little bit bigger. What does she think of it? Before we save it, let's actually take a full snapshot of that. And this is where the critique happens. I always love the critique, don't you?
Now that is very close to landing. The posture works. The thinking pose reads instantly. Chin on hand, slight lean, eyes forward. It says, considering something deeper without trying too hard. That's exactly what this topic needs. You've got the right vibe. 2 tiny tweaks. I'd suggest to really polish it. First, the arm. It's not broken, but it's whispering. AI did this. Just nudge the elbow slightly inward and bring a bit more forearm into frame so the hand feels properly supported. Right now, it's floating a touch. Think resting on desk, not hovering in philosophy. Second, the crop. You've got a lot happening in layers there. Your face, the workshop, the graphic. I'd tighten your head and shoulders just a bit so your expression becomes the anchor. Let the not jobs tasks do the heavy lifting, and you become the quiet narrator sitting beside it. Everything else, solid. The tone matches the message perfectly. Calm, slightly amused, like you already know something the viewer hasn't quite figured out yet. If this were a thumbnail in the wild, I'd pause on it. That's the test.
Of course, she's always going to pause on it. She's always, they're AIs, they're designed to agree with you. That's the propaganda machine, man. But anyway, yeah, look, I'm happy with that. I think that's we've got something workable there. We got our thing. I think I'll go with that. File, save that, save as. We'll now go into a JPEG for a final render. Down here. And this one's 31. Okay, save. I don't need to be there. I now need to come back into our editing machine. I did want to have a look at the different, because I have used sorts of different thinking. So I've done different thinking. I don't think I've used that pose. That's actually a good layout. That pose will be handy for later. Save that. Okay, what have we got? Is everything ready to go? Looks like it. Back to our channel. Right, and we've got, 53, 76, 43. That's been running for a day. That one's the next one to go out. So we've got 3 ahead. I should start thinking about scheduling these things to come out daily. But again, I've found if you push things too hard with YouTube, they actually penalize you for that. You've got to ingest yourself into their algorithm, at a sort of a human rate. If you go a little bit outside the, mass production sort of idea, well, you're going to find yourself, maybe penalized. That's only me talking conspiracy theory here. I have no proof that that would even be a thing. We could even explore that idea within our, context here. But quite frankly, no, well, we'll just leave it at that. Anyway, that's how we actually put these videos together. And now we're going to go and do the whole process again for this one. It's repeat. That's part of YouTube, I guess. Anyway, Jerry sent me a video to look at. about somebody else or using something just to click on and make videos with. I do want to think about putting some B-roll into my main channel, but again, I think about B-roll. I'm going, well, do people come to a video to watch a person talk about their experience or watch pictures flash in front of them while somebody talks in the background, which is, I don't know, it's one of those sort of things. I'm not really taken in by B-roll. I'm an information gathering guy, the B-roll doesn't help. I can look at 1,000 photos of, the Eiffel Tower and know that what the Eiffel Tower is in my head without having to look at a B-roll of it. But enough said. That's just me. I'm a little bit different to everybody else. So anyway, again, thank you for all our Patreons members and all that sort of stuff who are also tuning in. You can also join that sort of channel as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that sort of stuff. And we will hopefully catch up with you in the next video. Peace out, guys, and have fun.